Hello and welcome back to JW's Dugout. John here. Thank you guys for joining me once again. We're getting ready to wrap up the week here. Friday late afternoon. I'm just wrapping up work myself. Figured I'd do a quick video here. Happy to say the Braves are finally back on track. Swept the New York Mets last night. Great series, great stretch for them after having just arguably the worst stretch of baseball they've had in probably a decade. It was really good to see the couple comeback wins, some strong performances. We were actually at the game Tuesday night down at Truist Park. My wife and her side of the family, full-on diehard New York Mets fans. We're both obviously from New York, moved down here from New York City. I've been a Braves fan my entire life, so we kind of have that little back and forth battle, especially with my father-in-law, who's just a diehard Mets fan. So they were kind enough, the in-laws were kind enough to watch the kids on Tuesday night. We went down to the park, saw the Braves win in extra innings. Like I said, Braves finished off the sweep last night. They face the Marlins tonight. This guy, who I showed last video, Didier Fuentes, just turned 20 years old. Big pitching prospect for the Braves. He will get the start tonight. Give the regular rotation a little rest, an extra day of rest to push everybody back so that it works out nicely, because the Braves have a big stretch coming up. They face the Mets for 4 in Queens and then follow that up with a battle against the Phillies. So important stretch. Braves are 10 back in the East. That seems like a long shot, but they're only 5.5 back of the wild card. Still very early, but kind of a crucial stretch of baseball before the All-Star break, which also is down here. I was lucky enough to get in the lotto for the Home Run Derby, saw the price of tickets, and I decided to back away. They were going for over $500, at least the seats that I was looking at, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Even if I wanted to pull the trigger, it doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money for the Home Run Derby. So I'll save that for next time the Braves make it to the World Series. But anyways, today, I figured since we're slowly approaching induction weekend in Cooperstown, I thought I would start the first part of the series focused on Hall of Famers. And as I've talked about in past videos, my bread and butter are the writers and the broadcasters. I worked in media for a number of years, specifically in newspapers, so it really means a lot to me. And I figured I want to talk about the announcers today and show off my collection of Ford Frick Award winners. I feel like this is a good lead up, like I said, to induction weekend, and I'll do a series here. I'll show off in a future video Spinks winners, Hall of Fame managers, execs, and then of course players, leading up to Hall of Fame weekend. So let's swing the camera around. I'll show you my collection and we'll go from there. All right, so before we start really digging into the Hall of Famers, I think it's important to showcase this piece here. This is a Chop Talk magazine from all the way back in May of 2003, and it's signed by Pete Van Wieren and Skip Carey, which most of you will remember were the dynamic duo for TBS for a number of years, the national broadcast of Atlanta Braves games, part of a 4-man crew that also included Joe Simpson and MLB Hall of Famer Don Sutton. So this is a really special piece. I got this probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I was lucky to grab it on eBay. It's PSA authenticated, as you can see there in the bottom left corner, and just very nice signatures of both Pete and Skip. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Ford C. Frick Award winners in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So common, I would say, misconception is that they are part of the Hall of Fame as far as true Hall of Fame members represented in the hall, in the gallery where all the players' plaques are. That's incorrect. They're technically part of the Hall of Famers, but they're not in the same category as the players. They have their own separate wing. It's called Scribes and Mic Men, and it's an exhibit in the Hall's library. So, as a native New Yorker and really a lover of all things Cooperstown, I've spent countless hours in there over the course of the last 3 decades. It's one of my favorite places on the planet, and spent a lot of time in there reading the plaques, learning about all the broadcasters from way back when. And so the first broadcasters were inducted in 1978. It was the only year that there were actually 2 broadcasters enshrined. And every year since then, they've changed the rules up over the course of the last decade or so multiple times, but every year since then, it's only been one individual who's been enshrined. So as of right now, I've got a nice little stack here to the side, and I'm going to show off each one of the autographs that I have. But as of right now, I'm 53% complete in terms of Ford C. Frick Award winners, so 26 of 49 Hall of Fame broadcasters. My hope is to complete the majority of those missing pieces in the next couple of years. There's a few that are just going to be really hard to come by, and it's the same thing when it comes to the Spinks Award winners, which I'll show you in a future video here. Some of them are just like impossible to come by, and I will never get it. But I'm going to keep chipping away and try to get as many as I can. So we'll run down the list here, and let me just pull up really quick. I've got a nice spreadsheet here of who I'm missing, and I'll just kind of go year by year and just show off each autograph. So first one on the list, and we'll start in 1978, is Red Barber, who obviously most of you will know as the Hall of Fame Dodgers announcer, Brooklyn Dodgers announcer, who also played a pivotal role in taking Vin Scully under his wing. So I was happy to pick up this one. Next on the list, also 1978, is Mel Allen, of course, iconic voice of the New York Yankees, and was also on national broadcasts as well. So that's a little bit of a cut auto that I picked up a couple months ago. Next we have probably one of my favorite announcers of all time, Ernie Harwell, obviously Detroit Tigers announcer, and he was inducted in 1981. So I am missing 2 in between these years, 1979, Bob Elson, and 1980, Ross Hodges. All right, this one is a biggie. This is one of, I would say, my prized possessions. So this is a check of Vin Scully signed. And the interesting thing about this one is that is my birth date, my exact birth date, year included. So you can tell how old I am, but this is a check from Vin Scully, Pacific Palisades, California, and a nice black signature and black ink. Beautiful piece. This is actually the first check that I ever got that was autographed. I've since picked up a couple others, but I was really happy to pick this up when I did. All right, here's another one. Not the greatest signature, but Jack Brickhouse, which of course many of you will know from WGN and Cubs fame. Picked this one up a couple months ago. And we've got Curt Gowdy, of course, iconic Red Sox announcer, who coined the term the granddaddy of them all for Rose Bowl, because obviously he was broadcasting multiple sports, but this is a great index card signature, black ink. Another iconic announcer, Jack Buck, of course, broadcasted for decades with the St. Louis Cardinals. And another check, this one autographed by Harry Carey, who was inducted in 1989, Cubs announcer. It's a great signature. Paid to the order of TWA. That shows how dated it is. It's from 1977. All right, staying in order here, we've got, let's see, 1991 inductee was Joe. Oh, sorry guys, just got something hit on my computer. Okay, sorry about that. This is the 1989 inductee, or 1991 inductee, I'm sorry, NBC announcer. We've got Milo Hamilton, 1992, Houston Astros announcer. (1995) Bob Wolf, who was best known for Game of the Week in the 50s, broadcast many World Series throughout the years. So then I'm missing a couple. I'm basically missing 1996 through 1999. Then we go to 2000, Marty Brennaman, if I can talk there. I love this series. Like, I'm not a huge Panini guy, but this is from, let's see, this is 2012 Cooperstown Signatures. This set in particular, I think it was 2012 and 2013, have really helped me in terms of knocking off some of the the broadcasters, as well as the writers. They did a subset that had quite a few of them. All right, here's another good one, 2003. Put this over, Bob Uecker. And just by happenstance, unfortunately, Bob Uecker passed away, a couple months back. Rest in peace. It had been on my list for a while to get his autograph, and by happenstance, I picked it up. I think it was like 4 or 5 days before he passed away. Obviously, I had no idea what Bob Uecker's health was at that point. So it was happenstance because this went up significantly in price, but really sad to see him go. Obviously, Brewers Hall of Fame announcer. If you ever get a chance to go back and listen to his Cooperstown induction speech, it's on YouTube, you can find it. Super entertaining, iconic voice. What a personality. I mean, he was a player, played with the Braves, was a catcher who was, not the greatest skill set, but parlayed his playing career into a broadcasting career, and was really like a stand-up comedian in a sense. Appeared, consistently on Johnny Carson. Just a wonderful entertainer, and super glad to have his autograph in my collection. All right, we'll keep this going. 2005 inductee Jerry Coleman, Padres announcer. 2006 Gene Elston. 2007 Denny Matthews. Again, this is all from that same series. Denny Matthews, obviously iconic Kansas City Royals announcer. Here's another good one. On the swell baseball card, gotta love it. Tony Kubek, who was a staple on NBC for a number of years. This card there. All right, another biggie here is John Miller. Of course, still going strong, at least on a part-time basis on Giants broadcasts, but best known, obviously, for his partnership with Joe Morgan for, a number of years on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. But love this one, John Miller, with a HOF 2010 inscription there. All right, and then we have Dave Van Horn, who's best known as the Expos longtime announcer. Also served as announcer for the Marlins, 53 seasons in baseball. Just pretty incredible. There's that one there. Next, kind of in the same realm of former player who parlayed into a nice broadcasting career, Tim McCarver, who recently passed away. Obviously best known for doing color alongside Joe Buck on Fox. There's that one there. This is from, let's see, this is from 2022, Tier 1. All right, and then next on the list, we're getting to some bigger names. And some are not on cards or on index cards. They are in books. So this is, oh my, Dick Enberg. The nice thing is I got this one on eBay, and it's actually to John. Gotta love it. To John, oh my, Dick Enberg. It's a sign on 2017. Forward by John McEnroe. All right, and then 2018 was Bob Costas, who people have very heavy opinions when it comes to Bob Costas announcing baseball. There's his autograph right there. Then we've got Ken Hawk Harrelson, best known for his play-by-play with the White Sox. You can put it on the board. Another big one, Al Michaels. Which, by the way, if you haven't read this book, highly recommend. This one I showed in the last video. Pat Hughes with the Hall of Fame 2023 inscription. Obviously, he called the final out. His longtime Cubs announcer, but called the final out of their World Series clincher. All right, and then last on the list, I just picked this up a little while ago. Joe Castiglione, Red Sox announcer. It's auto right there. And that's the last of it for now. Again, I'm still missing a little ways to go. Like I said, 26 of 49 Hall of Famers. I have 53%. So a little bit more work to do, but I'm getting there. And really appreciate you guys watching the video, and join me for next time. Like I said, I'm going to be going over the Spinks Award winners, and I'll dig a little bit more into my Hall of Fame collection. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.